Hi everyone, I am Tara, aka Spirit Mother, and I would like to welcome you back to my channel on YouTube, Spirit Teaching and Going Within Self, on TikTok, and I'm also live on my Facebook. If you're new to my channel, I would recommend, suggest, and I really encourage people to read the description on my YouTube channel, Spirit Teaching and Going Within Self, so you can get a better understanding of what it is that I bring forward, because it can go anywhere, because I channel spirit. And some don't get that, don't understand that, and that's fine, you know. Uh, some of you are familiar with my channel. I use my own experiences, and sometimes it's just it all channels in. So I relate things of the channel of history or ancient times. That's what people would say, or biblical times. And I was like, I was out somewhere, and on the way home, some things like escalated. Okay, verbally. But see, the thing is, I started channeling because I feel like there's a squabble. Okay, I know there's secrets. Okay, now today I'm talking about, was Jesus and Peter half brothers, or you can say Yeshua and Simon. Okay? So Jesus, Yeshua, Peter, Simon. Okay. Now, if you look, okay, were you actually in the writing seeing it from two perspectives? One was naming Jesus, and one was Yeshua, but they were two totally different timelines. An older and a younger. See, would it have been Simon and Yeshua and Jesus and Peter? Okay, because people say that you know uh, uh, Peter was a felon. Right? And Peter was a felon. Okay. Now, Jesus, his background, okay, he was to take on the system, right? Okay. So he was more caught in the face. Yeshua, this is how I'm channeling through. Like, you don't gotta go with this. It's entirely up to you. It may even make sense if you really sit with it. Because I said that Jesus is son of Mary Magdalene, right? Okay, you have Peter. Okay, he was the first said pope. This is going to get testy for people. That's fine. He was the first said pope. Okay, what's transpired in the Catholic Church? Okay, because I went through this today with someone, and that I guess kind of helped them along. Okay, this is a hard one. Okay, because I can feel some that are actually trying to shut me down right now. Is that part of, you only want to hear one thing, right? Nothing else is a possibility. Because if you sit with it, it may even begin to make sense. Because, we're getting the names from two different timelines. Like, people said that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute in one part, and another part they say that she wasn't a prostitute, two Marys. I'm not just talking, okay, you have Mother Mary, which would have been Yeshua's mother. Then you had Mary Magdalene, that was Jesus' mother. And the prostitute, she was another Mary. And the prostitute, Mary, was the one that Jesus loved. But did he remain in love? See, now I'll take you back to what you say as God, Michael, and Lucifer. Okay? Lucifer was actually Magdalene, and Michael was Jesus. Mary Magdalene had Jesus at probably around 14, 15 years of age. Okay? But Jesus was taken from her and was not to be the mother. Mary Magdalene. See, some people may agree with this, some people may not. And I can feel an entity right above my head. This is my theory. This is what I'm seeing by hearing other things. It's a part of putting pieces of the puzzle together. Okay? So people said that Jesus was kissing Mary Magdalene. Okay? Maybe he would give his mother and him on the outs. Okay? It's much like Cain and Abel. Or is it Cain and Cain, but Caleb? Okay? That's the part of the story. Okay? And then there's a sister in there. Okay? So if Cain was sent out, then people say her name was Anna. Was it actually Cain, Caleb, and Annabelle? Abel, Annabelle? I've said this before. Okay, so you have Cain, Abel, and Annabelle. Okay, so you have Michael, Lucifer, and what you perceive to be the Father, and then you have Jesus, Peter, Mary Magdalene. I can really feel that up there. And there's like Peter doesn't like what I'm bringing forward because it may be a little bit enlightening. So now, because I'm getting that there was a father and a son, and didn't know that they were father and son. Okay, because if you look at the story of Yeshua was said to have had his enemy, and Jesus said, well, Mary Magdalene was said to have Peter didn't like Mary Magdalene. But was Peter Yeshua's half brother and Simon Jesus' half brother? And then maybe, you look at the Catholic Church, like people say, there's a lot of homosexuality in there. And people will come on here and they'll say that Jesus said about basically forbidden homosexuality. Was it homosexuality with grown ass men? Or was it the homosexuality with the grown ass men having sex with the little boys. Because I really think that Peter, like I said, was homosexual. And I think he was in love, also in love with Jesus. And maybe Jesus, you know, went both ways. And people say, oh, well, that's blasphemy, is it? You know, because I did say it's like a love triangle because Cain killed Caleb because Caleb raped his sister or had sex with his sister. And then the mother, did the mother kick Cain out because she didn't believe him? Or was there another secret there? Was it the father and blamed the son? Seriously, I'm allowed to question these things. And you should be too. Because in all actuality, the way the story is told, or the tale, what have you, or your biblical text, you're actually telling it from two different timelines. But you don't get that, do you? Told you my channel's not for everyone. You know, when that happens, it's me being attacked because it's bringing truth to light. I'm asking the questions, and you're just confirming me. See, because everything always led back to two brothers. Okay, but you know, with this one, like, was it actually the father and son going after the daughter? You know, because think of it this way. Okay, go back to Gaia and Uranus. Uranus treated Gaia like a piece of it. Like after kids come along, he treated her like crap because she was no longer, oh yes, sir, right away, sir. She became her own person, but he wouldn't let. It was like he wouldn't allow the kid. It said he wouldn't allow the children to surface. So it said that the son, Kronos, sliced his testicle, but then it said that Cronus raped the mother, and he said himself to be the father. That's who you're dealing with. You're dealing with the father that ate his own fucking children. But see, then Zeus was the one that didn't get beat, and Zeus was the nuclear brother. So it's now it's like I'm starting to channel because it's like Gaia was the grandmother, right? And Rhea was the daughter. Is like okay. Did Rhea really give the give the child, give Zeus to the grandmother? Because what ended up happening, as the story says, is Kronos Kronos and Zeus both caused harm to God, Father and Son. And the grandfather is chaos. Uranus is chaos. Okay? That's why, you have the astral running the country. So he's stirring things up. And then Kronos and Zeus are once again picking on God, or both the mother and child. Or sorry, well, the grandmother and the daughter. That's the five. Sorry, I went, that's the five. Well, that's the five of them. So you're moving from the dimensions, right? And this is why Peter was so angry, because Mary Magdalene understood the teachings, which she even went over and above. So that would have made she became like the Holy Spirit. She became Christ-like too, because she was always that way. But she was much like you and I. She had to go through hell to find her way home. She had to battle with Jesus, Michael. The mother was Lucifer. Mary Magdalene. You don't have to believe me, but it all makes sense, because you people just left the mother right out of everything. Peter demonized her. And, be honest, Jesus did too, because Jesus thought she walked out on him. That's what you're looking at. That's the family feud. That's why it's father against son, mother against daughter, brother against brother, sister against sister, and brother and sister against each other. Mother and daughter, father and daughter, because that's what it is. It was father and daughter, and the son was taken away. When you sit and you look at your own life, and then when you look at the stories, you begin to understand. See, nobody wants to look at anything from a different perspective, because they're all on a narrative that it's plain sight that there's two timelines fucking going on there. Why do you think, some call him Peter and some call him Simon, some call him Yeshua and some call him Jesus? Mary Magdalene, Mary. The three women at the foot of Christ, Jesus, said to be Jesus. And see, people say it was one or the other. How do you know there wasn't three of them? Like they say, there were three. Do you think they didn't fucking do something to Mary Magdalene? And she was the one that they really despised for what she was bringing forward. Why do you think her stuff was hid? People don't like that, because there are some people that did follow Mary Magdalene because of the teachings of Christ. The real teachings of Christ didn't come from the book. They come from the heart. Lisan emotion natural. Some people you just don't believe how you believe, but you're keeping yourself in a mental cage because you won't think outside of it that, the possibility of, some people may just be fucking right. It, yesterday, it's like people telling people, like when you feel like you got the demons, just say in Jesus' name. How about you stand up to the fucking demons instead of expecting somebody else to do it for you? It's like Jesus went deep down a rabbit hole that he struggled to get out of. That's why it was like flip flop. To be honest, he didn't really like people, especially when it was Yeshua who did. And he was like, I'll be honest, he was a really Yeshua. Jesus is the Lord. Oh, because he was first. See, people say about ley lines and different parts of the world that people are wrong. That's what helps you to channel what the truth is, what the story is. But they did say that Peter was the same age as Jesus. Families get separated all the time. Adoptions happen. Switched at births happen. And some children are born twins when they get separated. And you know something? What can be so odd and freaky sometimes is it can happen between doppelgangers where they look so much alike that it's uncanny, but they're from two different families. But is it because one has the same photo, or because they have the same father or the same? It is. It's like two parallel worlds, with different, because it's two timelines. It's like to say, Hope smokes dope. Yep, Hope smoked dope, and he got addicted. He used it to numb his own ignorance and pain. Yesterday, just a conversation that took place. It was really strange because as long as they were giving Yeshua his dope, he was good. So if you think that they were perfect, they were still going through their ascension. They were still going through everything just like you and I. They just had gifts and they were just tapped into their gifts and abilities. Just like all you have, just too busy looking at it. Only one person has that. God gave it to you. If you were born of God, then sit and think. If you're born of your mother, do you not carry the same characteristics, traits, shit like that? These gifts are passed down from generation to generation. Desde la que te fuimos, te crean, no, no, sí, sí, algo tu poem. It's like you get that sensation of like it's tearing you apart. The spirit is trying to bring in all different directions, but it's like you got to deal with me. They say, what was it? Jacob fought his demon, but fighting with God. 40 days, 40 nights. Moses, you said, like, was it Moses that separated the Red Sea? But some people think it was metaphorically speaking. That's the part of, learning and understanding the truth, as scary and as fucked up as it may seem. It's like when it was said in the book of Thomas of Jesus turning Mary Magdalene into a man. Why? Because you were so used to getting the shit kicked out of you? Because you like to instigate? Or is it because you feel like you can't die and you just keep, or you've done something so terrible that people just beat the shit out of you? because that's what the Antichrist is. And I channel this stuff and I realize that it's like it's seeing my own experiences and seeing behind the veil, beyond the veil, seeing with the masks off because I don't see the person. I see spirit. You have a mask on. So I see your avatar, but then I look through it because I don't want to talk to an avatar. I want to talk to spirit, the Christ consciousness, the true intelligence, the true wisdom, the true all that is, because consciousness is never ending. And people can believe in this, but it's like ether, it's everything. That's when you're tapped in with the entirety of the universe and beyond. That's when you truly know, when you connect like that, that's when you truly know that you've connected to the God that you are searching for. And it doesn't matter what fucking name you give it. That's entirely for yourself. Or not, it's entirely up to yourself. But, stop pointing fingers at everybody, at each other. Who gives a fuck what religion you have? If that's what your religion is, you follow that religion. But it doesn't mean that it's more right than the other person's religion. And to try to enforce it on somebody else, I'm not forcing this belief on me. I'm saying, ask the questions and let it make sense to you. Look at your own life. Because I guarantee you can relate it to the Bible, no matter what Bible you look at. Because I'll tell you, each person is a part of each Bible because it's called your ancestors. It's like I had somebody the days with me about with regards to East Indian men, of what is said about what they do to young boys. It must have came from Peter. Is it is Peter the one that keeps trying to get the shit kicked out of him? Michael or Michael Jesus, just like, say the son is bad, the father's worse. And if my family, like if any of my family's watching this and you're taking offense to this, and you're not understanding what this is. It's not about you. It's about a part of your spirit, and not just you, everyone, including myself. You take offense to what I said, but have not a fucking clue what I mean. Even though I say my channel is spirit to spirit, so don't take it personally, because I know that part of the spirit that holds on to it, but that's what I'm trying to get you to do is to let go of it, to talk about it. Because obviously, if people are screaming their heads off trying to express something, you're the problem because you're ignoring the problem. When the person is asking for guidance or just someone to be there, it's not even that they want you to say anything back. Some people like to vent at other people, but why fuck they don't want somebody venting at them? Why is that? A little hypocritical, maybe a little, you narcissistic, because everybody's got that trait too. So when was the seven sins? What? Because it sounds like someone thought that it was okay for them to do it, but nobody was to do it to them. Because if they did, it was a sin. So it's okay for you to create a system and integrate it into society. But it's not okay for someone else. It's like someone thinks I'm the only one that creates life. Then why does everything said that these ones that tell a story, they only tell half of the story, the bits and pieces of the other that tries to make the other side look bad, and it doesn't matter what fucking side you're on. Is that part, if you've been around someone and you treated them like crap and you talk down to them and everything like that, and then you think that you can put something else out there and think that they're going to take it as a joke, and then you try to spin it on somebody else because they confronted you with it, and then you blame that person. I'm getting ragged out for this. Yeah, because maybe you should realize that it's not always the way you say it, but it's how you do it. What you say, but it's how you deliver it. whether you've like bought things for them and everything. It's not that. You can't buy love. And anyone who can be bought by money, have their love bought by money, you really need to go in. See, people can say that they're not hiding a secret or hiding something from you, but I know fucking well when people are. And there are certain people that like to say about others who lie by omission when they're fucking lying by omission all the goddamn fucking time. And then they'll even lie to your face and then say, oh, I didn't. That's why, like, you have these people like the psychics and stuff like that, and others will say, no, they're not psychic. Why are you saying? Because they'll even tell you that you're not psychic, even if you have told them something, they'll still deny it because that's someone that don't want the truth, excuse me, the truth to come to light, or that untold story. Because I know that there's like at least like maybe two or three that I believe had has a child they don't know, or maybe they do know and just not saying it. Because I think there's one that like, well, no, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate, but I know there's like two or three, and it's that part of to the ones that if you know, it's time to speak up about it. Because the more it stays hidden, the more pain it causes. You know, I do this stuff because it helps me to move forward, because it helps me to release my ancestors by addressing some of my ancestors. They don't want to come to light either. Hey, some know across the field, and if they don't speak up, it's because they're trying to cover their own ass. I'm going to use this as an example because everybody's been waiting for the Jeffrey Epstein files to names the list. That's a hot topic right now. It's supposed to be like, I know that they're trying to shut me down for that because I said about the list. But see, the thing is, it was, she said that it was on her desk and it was going to be coming out. The list was going to be brought to light. And now it's not being brought to light. It's a whole totally different story now that, hey, well, no, she didn't say that she had the list. She was referring to all the documents on her desk. The reason likely that it's not coming to light, I see it that, she's one of the ones on the list. If you go look at old pictures. See, there's some in it that's, they're like rogue. Some in those fields. Okay. I had one time I was training Spartacus. Spartacus not like a military leader. You want rogue. So what you're seeing right now. But what is rogue? Seriously. People say, well, they went and they took the other side. That was rogue. Some would say that they went off on their own. And, like vigilante, that's what I just heard, vigilante. Or sniper, things like that. They go rogue and they do their own thing. And then there's some that, you go rogue from either or of the systems and you commend people and you do what's right. That's called balance. You know, people say, some people say love and light, love and light. Well, you have to go through the pain of love, the pain that you experienced from you loving. And a lot of it came in shadows. So you have to go through those shadows to get to the light. And that's what Jesus was doing. And Yeshua, Peter got bitter and angry. So Peter had a happy family. One executed, but they really weren't banking on one person. And it wasn't Jesus and it wasn't Yeshua. It was Mary Magdalene. Jesus and Yeshua were the two that were put on the cross, said to be the like the two who said were, what was it, thieves? That's what it said. Thieves and murder. If one of them murdered anyone, Yes, you should have hurt the family member. Then you put the mother. I'm looking back to my ancestors' line of what I'm being shown. I believe Mary Magdalene was the one on the front cross. She was the one that cursed us all, because you were trying to kill the baby and slave. It shows, stabbed her in the belly, but you say it was Jesus, right? Did they even know about Jesus? Or was that just the beginning? I'm asking these questions and I'm getting these feelings because it's going to answer. Maybe they knew about it. Maybe they didn't. Maybe he wasn't the one. Did she give birth? Was there twins? I asked that because, I followed her story and I followed my own because that's what this was a pregnancy for twins. But I'm not saying I'm anyone. I'm saying I can relate to my own. I can relate to Jesus and I can relate to yeshua and I can relate to Peter. Some people, they still won't get it when you say it. It's like, look at it, really look at it. Is it the Jewish community? They don't refer to Jesus as Jesus, they refer to him as Yeshua, son of Mary. It's like I can feel that. It's the energy of trying to strangle me, to shut me up. Like in spirit, you already tried to rip my voice box out, rip my throat out. Some people look at me as saying, I wish you're sick, whatever. And I know what I experienced. And deep down, a lot of you know what you're experiencing, but you won't say anything about it because it's the stigma, hence the stigmata. The hands, to put a cam. You see with your hands, you said, Mhm. They say don't crash your legs, why? Because it affects the energy flow, right? And what did they do with the legs? They crossed the legs. But what way was he at? What way were they actually on? Was it across? Because if you look at the cross represents Christ consciousness. If you look at the Da Vinci, they have two ways: up and this way, legs together, legs apart. That's both sides of both timelines. Were the two? Was it Yeshua and Jesus on the pole? You know, how did they hang him? And then Mary Magdalene, the indication of Christ consciousness. She won't believe that because everybody has their own narrative of it. Can't see something different, right? It's not possible that it was both ways, right? Just different timelines with the same fucking family. You ever hear that saying, if there was a fly on the wall, and right now there's one on my phone? So someone's in here listening. You know, this is what I like, spirit to spirit. I'm talking to spirit. I'm not talking to anybody particular because there's many versions of your spirits because it's been never ending and it's going to stop. It's that part, you know, you feel like it's like trying to take the life of someone over and over and over again, like you keep repeating the same freaking thing. That's spirit saying, you know, hey, you're going to keep repeating it until you get it right. That's how you get to the kingdom of. It's like you're going to fight it, you're going to resist it, but the more you try to suppress it, you're only hurting yourself. And then you have no one else to blame. You want a savior? Your savior's already here. And every damn time you look in the mirror, you see it. I'm going to leave it there. And, like I said, try seeing things from a different perspective, and you might come to the truth and reconciliation. It's going to hurt to get there because you're going to have to feel it. But in the end, it's worth it. Rough, but it's worth it. You'll have its ups and downs and rocky moments and head spinning and screeching and crying and bawling and ripping the strip off people. But just, don't take it out on innocent people and keep your fucking hands to yourself. That being said, I'm sending you all much love, light, and blessings. Most importantly, very good health to anyone and everyone wanting and willing to receive and accept. Want you all to be big, bold, brave. Most importantly, be yourself, be your authentic self, be true to yourself, be kind to yourself, and know that you have more strength than you can comprehend. Live tayo. Pag-isigan mo tayo. It's like, oh, crap. Okay. Yeah, I keep getting that feeling that it's like, don't stop. Like, spirit would chant the whole time. Okay, because I know that there's many others that I'm connecting with that have a lot to say, and I want you to use your voice. Speak up, right? Because the one that should be your biggest cheerleader should be those parts of you. And when you start cheering yourself on and you start seeing it, there's going to be ones that aren't going to like it because you're moving out of that repetitive. You're moving forward. You're looking at your stuff and saying, hey, and there's going to be people that aren't going to like that because they're going to feel like you're leaving them behind. But it's that part of you you can always catch up. Don't be afraid to speak up about your experiences, because the right people will get the message. They will understand and they will be able to relate to you, relate with you. But the first thing is people really need to start talking instead of going on these things and fucking texting everything. You can go messenger, person to person, through the screen. Or you can even do a video of yourself expressing to these people as if you're having that conversation with that person. But the best place to have that conversation is heart to heart, spirit to spirit. So do it in the spirit world because that is where your unfinished business is. Love you all. See you.